everyone, it's Sierra and welcome back to another build video. We're doing another apartment, and of course we are going to be working with platforms once again. I really love working with platforms. It really helps subdivide the spaces because some of these apartments can be way too big, and honestly I like working with a smaller space sometimes, especially if it's just going to be one sim living here like this one. And of course I always do some column work. It's one of my favorite things to use. It really adds just like a little bit of character to the build. I feel like sometimes I struggle to kind of figure out what kind of columns I want to use, and lately I've been kind of going with like a lighter wood tones in my builds, especially with like the flooring, and just using a little bit of like darker accents. Also, I didn't know if I really wanted to put like a half wall there. I ended up just using it in using the snowy escape railing over on the side by the kitchen. And I love the Parenthood cabinets that we got. It's one of my absolute favorites to use, and the flooring that we got too with oh my gosh, that wood flooring, I always kind of forget where we got it from. Anyway, I really like to use darker colors, but we kind of kept it a little more like neutral. I used some gray on the walls as well. And like I said, I really love the Parenthood cabinets and appliances that we got, so we kind of threw in some of those. And I was kind of thinking of like, who lives here? It's like a younger adult who she kind of just moved in, so she kind of doesn't have too much stuff yet. She's kind of just getting going. So I was like, why not make this kind of colorful but put like a little bit of clutter? I know I really like to clutter things up, so I kind of kept it minimal in this build. And I did use a lot of pinks in here, which I stay away from the pinks, guys. If you know me and my builds, I usually don't use a lot of pink, so I end up using a lot of pink instead of using a lot of blue instead. Also, I love these chairs that we got from the high school pack, and that like high top table that we got too is absolutely adorable. I love using those as much as I can. And you guys, for some reason I always forget to put in either a range hood or a smoke detector. So I was like, all right, gotta throw in the range hood really quick. I cannot forget that. And of course, I always put in like some sort of like dish rack, and of course the bread holder, and always have to go in with the tea maker as well. That's one of my favorite things to use. And of course I was like, Sierra, you have to quit. Like, you have to stop. You need room for them to cook. You need one counter open for them. So of course I had to pull back a little bit, and it was kind of hard for me to, I ended up like, I'll just put in the salt and pepper shaker and call it good, probably. I mean, there's really nothing else to put in that's like not like much bigger. I didn't want, that's right, I ended up putting this like little tea jug back there to kind of fill up that little back area, and some plates as well from Snowy Escape. I ended up putting in, oh my gosh, and the cookie jar. I love using that cookie jar, you guys. Seriously, it's just so adorable. And I don't know, it's just so cute for clutter. And I don't know, I kind of struggled a little bit with what kind of rug I wanted to use too. I usually go for like a smaller rug, but I was like, maybe I should try and use a round one instead of like the rectangular square small rugs. So I went with that pink one. Like I said, using more pink in this build, which I normally don't do, but I was like, nah, let's go for it. And oh my gosh, the couch, you guys. I struggled a little bit with this couch, and I kept it in a little bit how I struggled. And of course, I had to use a bunch of this high school years pack stuff. And I made this built-in shelving too, which I thought was so cool. for the TV area, and I was able to kind of clutter it up a little bit. Of course, had to put some clutter in, and I struggled a little bit with TV placement. And I really didn't know what kind of color I wanted to use in here as well, because I wanted to keep it kind of bright, but I didn't want it just kind of like boom in your face, too bright, too many colors going on. So I kind of toned it down a little bit with the rug from Dream Home Decorator. And then that back wall, I'm not a fan of that back wall with all those different like electrical box appliances stuff going on. I was like, this really kind of takes away from the whole space, but you have to keep it open so they can get to it and fix it if anything breaks. So I was like, okay, let's just try and like figure out what we can do in this space to make it so the main focus isn't on those two things. So like I said, I tried to put a decent amount of clutter in. Also, you know me, I love putting plants in too. I just always assume that the sim that's living here loves to garden and loves to read, of course. I'm always putting books in, and I use that pink swatch, and I always love putting in that book trunk, so I ended up being able to fit that in. Made me super happy. And then I also ended up putting in just this, I think it was base game lamp. I was like, I need something more on this half wall to make it not look so empty, and to try and cover up that piping that's back there too. And then I was like, all right, let's just kind of put in some Dream Home Decorator photos or paintings. I don't know what they are. I'm pretty sure they're photos. I kind of put a couple of those in to kind of take the focus off the ugliness around us. And then I was like, there is a lot of room behind the couch. So I ended up putting like a plant in, and ended up putting in a yoga mat too as well back there, just for, I was like, I don't know, maybe just like a little room for activities. Why not put something in, kind of put some more clutter in the area, I guess. And then I really didn't know what else I wanted to put on the bookshelf. So, like I said, I kind of struggle a little bit, and I kind of just left it really as it was. I kind of ended up throwing like a small photo frame and that clutter thing down there, and that was basically it for that. I kind of was like, all right, scale back a little bit. You're going to end up putting too much stuff in. And then the loft bedroom was pretty interesting, I'm not going to lie, because it was such a small space, but I wanted, like I said, the pastel colors. I used a lot of pink in here too. I used the rugs from High School Pack and the bed from High School Pack. I kind of switched it up with, I was like, oh, I really like this pink and purple like rainbow color rug that they had going on. And then we ended up putting the cow plant up above the bed, because I really didn't know what to put in without making it look just too cluttered, like on the walls. And I was like, I need to figure something out along the way. So I ended up putting up some of the fairy lights along like the half wall and along the wall up above the bed as well. I was like, okay, you know what? This is a nice addition. I kind of think, you know, a young adult would have these in their room right now. They're super cute, especially if they're making like content or something. It's a good backdrop to have, especially like living in the city. I'm sure some type of content creator would be living here. And I really branched out with the pink. I usually do a lot of blue and a lot of gray. And we went in for a lot of pink, and I was actually very impressed. Also, desk area, I think I did a pretty good job. I wanted to put a decent amount of clutter in, but I was scared that they wouldn't be able, for some reason I was scared they wouldn't be able to use the desk. So I just put in a couple plants and stuff, and then I put in the shelving unit that we made by the dresser, and I really didn't know what to put in there. So we just put a little couple plants on top, and of course we had to put in some books in there, because like I said, the girls probably love to read. I mean, at least I love to read, so I just assumed she loves to read in her spare time or just to rewind or relax. And I was like, we should also probably put in a mirror too, just for like a little extra clutter, a little pop in there. And then I kind of like cut out majority of the bathroom footage because I really didn't think it was too important. Because, bathrooms are just kind of like boring to decorate. So like I said, I just put basic stuff in there. In the hallway, I just kind of put, we made like a little makeshift like shoe rack, and we put the umbrella, and that was basically it for that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this build. Check me out on Twitch. I'm live 4 times a week, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you guys have a good night, afternoon, day, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.